this is the DJI Osmo X3 camera, and we are doing a very quick and dirty review, testing it out. I'm with Garry here. He's a photographer, and he's had literally half an hour play with this thing and pretty much testing it out for the first time. So I'm actually mic'd up. I have a Zoom H1 recorder that is going through a lav mic, which is here, because this doesn't actually have very good sound. Garry, on the other hand, has a similar setup. He's got a lav mic, which is going into the Osmo, and it's attached to his leather jacket. Very stylish there. So when you record with these, you need some sort of sound recording device, because the onboard sound is not very good. It's not very clear, it's not very loud, but that's fine, because if you're doing this for real, we should do a bit of a walk actually. If you're doing this for real, if you're doing this seriously, you're going to have proper mics anyway. General rule of mics is they're going close to the point of the audio source. So the mic is very close to my mouth, so I'm going to get good sound. Even if that had a great mic, it wouldn't be that useful except to help sync up the audio, because there's a bit of a fan inside the motor which is quite noisy, and it picks it up. And DJI actually have released a sound solution. So it's a little mic that you stick on top. There's a little plug in the front, and that helps you get a bit more natural noise, but you're still going to pick up the fan noise. So if you can have a setup like this with a recorder and a lav mic or some sort of boom mic, that's going to be much better, and you're going to get a more professional result. So anyway, what do you think of the DJI Osmo, Garry?
Well, I think it's amazing. I think the main point of the DJI Osmo is that it has the gimbal on the top, which is the stabilization. That's the reason why you get it. And as we've been filming you, it's been tracking where you walk. So I've been moving the camera up and down actually, but it's locked onto you.
But have you been doing the weird walk where you bend your knees and walk like a bit of a knob, but kind of like this? But you get better stabilization, because it's 3 axis. It will do the up down, the left right, and also the tilt. But it won't stabilize your up and down movement. When you walk, you kind of bob a bit.
Just an example, I'm going to do 2 types of walk. I'm going to walk normally, then I'm going to try and walk bending my knees and see what the difference is. So I'm just going to follow you and walk normally now.
Alright, so we're going to go and walk up these lovely Olympic themed staircase here.
So this is me in normal walk mode, and this is me probably with a slight bending of knees, and see if that makes any difference. I'm not very good at this though, as I said, well, not much of a video guy.
Professional Steadicam operators, they usually work in a pair, because a lot of the time people are walking backwards, and if you're recording backwards, you don't want to trip and stack it. So usually someone's got their hand on your back and leading the way while you walk backwards with the camera. So I've seen that done before for movies and for documentaries and that kind of stuff. So to do this properly, you have a 2-man team.
Now one thing I've noticed here, that it's fixed focus. So right now, although you're the subject, it's actually locked onto focus to something behind you. And that's something you can't change, I think, on the app.
Well, it has a large depth of field. So from here, I should be plenty sharp. Infinity, which is like as far back as you will need, like the sun or stars, they'll be in focus too, because it's so wide angle. The problem is when you're doing a selfie mode, your arm's not long enough. So when you're doing it on selfie mode, you will be slightly out of focus. In my tests, 1080p, you don't really notice it because it's not sharp enough. But when you're on 4K, you definitely notice a bit of softness.
Yeah.
And you can also solve that by buying I think they call it now the Pole Plus. It's basically a fancy selfie stick designed.
What is the minimum focusing distance? You know, actually the spec?
I think it's 1.2 m, but
yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
That's a little bit of an issue, because like right now we're at 1.2 m. Okay, you're sharp. Once I go into this kind of territory, headshot territory, I think you're going to be soft again. So it's something that you've got to avoid. Yeah. You've got to work around, I guess.
However, you wouldn't really shoot a headshot with a 20mm lens. It's just too wide, it's just on my nose. You're probably gonna need a different camera for that. So, for what it's worth, you're gonna remember the limitations, what it's good at, what it's not good at.
We're holding up a bit of traffic behind us.
So when I've been filming with this, I get my assistant to use this because it's a lot easier to use. And I use a shoulder rig, and I put a larger camera, full frame mirrorless, where I can change out the lenses, and then I can do my pans, I can do my zoom, my whip pans, my zoom in, zoom out kind of effects. And then this camera does all the tracking or the smooth, what they used to use a dolly for. So a dolly is like a little car on wheels, and you move the camera and it makes it really soft. So
Okay, now it's gone and done something on its own. What I've noticed while I've been filming you, it's lost tracking and it's just starting to point upwards. So I think it's double click to recenter. Oh yeah. I don't know why it did that.
if you don't want to do that, because it probably thinks you're facing up, you could go on the screen, hold your finger down, and just slowly bring it back. So then you won't get the sudden, snap of the camera when it refocuses.
I mean, the whole point of this video, I guess, is we wanted to do like a walk and talk to see how it would handle stabilization in general and how it would keep track. Now, in the sort of 5-minute test we've had, it's kind of lost you once and started pointing upwards.
Oh yeah, but we have set the, we were doing that test with the 360 thing, so it's set on deadband 0,
Yep.
fast acceleration and fast movement. So maybe we should put it back to medium, and you won't lose where I am so easily.
Okay.
Or you could try out that 360 thing.
Okay, hold up. I'm gonna lock onto you. You stand still.
Okay. So we're doing the matrix thing, so I'm going to try to do a bullet time thing without like 100 cameras. So Gary, if you could run really, really fast,
It's very difficult because I'm not that fit.
we could kind of get like a matrix effect. If you can run around this point in like a tenth of a second, we would need like 30 cameras like they
Well, I'm
do.
dizzy now. Let's go.
And that said, I've seen someone do it with an iPhone and a string, because they've done this matrix effect. They've rigged up an iPhone with a string and spun around the head. And the iPhone does like 280 frames per second. So 1/10 the speed. So they've done skiing and just spun a phone around the head in very slow motion, and they've captured like a matrix effect. And it looks amazing. It actually looks really good. So maybe Google it, because I can't be bothered to find the link. Or maybe someone can post the link.
I'm walking into lampposts and stuff right now. Okay.
Actually, this reverse thing could kind of work. What if you turn the camera that way, so you can see the camera and have it facing backwards?
Okay.
Like selfie mode it, yeah. And then that way you don't need two operators, and you won't run into a tree or something.
Get a bit of the shoulder going on.
Yeah. Or you can also take the phone off. You can also take the phone off
Yeah.
the bracket and hold it out. So
Ah.
it's actually a really good new tool for filmmakers, and it's something that hasn't really been done before. All in one package, all integrated. That's so light and easy to use. If you see the Steadicam operators for moves and stuff, they have a huge rig.
That costs considerably more.
Costs a lot more, it's heavier, it's not as easy to
I mean,
do. I always like small and light. Although usually with small and light, you do sacrifice a bit of quality, image quality.
so all in all, you got 4K, you got active stabilization. What's the price point?
So this has been out for a little while. They've dropped in price. I've seen for 4,000 something. I think it was 4,800, but don't quote me on that. Hong Kong dollars. So what would that be in US? 500 bucks? Something like that, I think. I have no idea. Anyway, it's somewhat affordable. You're getting this for around the price of the top-end GoPro, but you get stabilization for free. Although you can't really compare it to a GoPro, because the GoPro is designed to be a rugged camera that can go underwater, get splashed on. You can it's kind of shockproof. It's got a shockproof body case, and it's designed so you can mount it on all the things. It's a lot lighter. but the price points are kind of the same. They have very different purposes. Someone that's going to do extreme sports is not going to use one of these. You'll break it. If you drop this thing, it's going to die. You splash water on it, it's probably going to die. But you can't get stabilization like that on a GoPro without adding an extra gimbal or something like that. So it's as I say, it's horses for courses. Different tools for different purposes.
You just maybe go in front of me.
Okay.
And I'll twist it back, so there we go.
So we are kind of losing a bit of light because it took a while to set this up actually. But I think this should look really nice. It's not night time, there's a bit of light in the air, in the sky.
What I've noticed is that we've been
about
traveling
640.
As we've been traveling, the ISO has been adjusting itself automatically, and it's been pitching. It's been going from 1600 to 3200, depending on as we've gone.
ISO.
Yeah, as we've gone up and down, it's just adjusted its ISO.
Okay, so we are hitting the limits of what this can do, and I've tested this in low light. It's still pretty good. You just get a bit more grain and stuff.
So right now we're back down to 400. See, just before we had a bit of bright lights. So down 400, now to 1600, 1600. Before I'm going to get run over by a car here. We're back up to 3200.
Yeah. 3200 is about the limit. It's a f2.8 aperture lens, which is kind of bright. It's on the bright end of things, so it's not too bad in low light. It does a decent job. If you do want to shoot in a very dark environment, you will have to get the X5. That's just the same with all cameras. You need a bigger sensor.
So what's the X5?
The X5 is by DJI, but instead of having the 2.3 inch sensor, or 1/2 2.3, I don't know how you pronounce it. It has a 4/3 sensor, so much bigger sensor. It's not full frame, it's similar to APS-C, and it means you can put a bigger lens on it, and bigger sensor, more light sensitivity, which means cleaner files, less noise, better image quality overall. At cost. And size-wise, it's not too much bigger. It still fits on the same handle. You just unlock the top of the camera off, and then put the bigger camera on. And they even do a version which has RAW. So if you want to do some really serious stuff, you want to do some color grading, they have that too. So not bad for first generation product. They already have 3 different versions out: the X3, X5, and X5 RAW.
Just remind the audience what model is this one?
So this is the DJI Osmo X3. It is first generation, and it's been out for about half a year now or something like that. And it's been pretty good. It's for first generation. It's doing
Top 3 things you like about this camera.
It's a breakthrough camera. Okay, I like that it's cheap-ish for a camera. Image quality is pretty good with its limitations, and it's small and light. Maybe I should do 3 things I don't like about it.
Things that you would improve for next generation.
Sound quality, they need to do some sort of sound quality improvement. Keeping in mind that you can solve that by, rigging up some sort of sound gear, doing some image, sound synchronization in Final Cut. Battery life could be improved, or some sort of way to put a battery pack extender, because I've got 4 batteries for this thing, and I always have to keep swapping out batteries, and it'd be nice to have a big power pack here and have a nice thick cable stuck there, so I don't have to change change batteries. But it's decent.
Well, I mean, one thing about this camera is that you have to pair it up with a smartphone for you to be able to use it.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's worth mentioning. I mean, right now my smartphone's down to 28% battery. What's the drain like on the iPhone?
Drain, well, you're on an iPhone which has decent battery life. The bigger one, the iPhone 6s Plus, has a bigger battery, so that should last a bit longer. I haven't really tested it. But you have 2 things that you have to worry about, which I'd rather have no things to worry about, which is the camera's battery and the phone's battery. And you can always rig up a power pack to your phone and have all these wires. But it would be cool to have its own little monitor built into the device, or something like that, so you don't have to worry about two sets of batteries. That said, it's kind of cool to have the phone as a separate device and having that Wi-Fi connection, because it means you can take the phone off, put on a stick, and view it that way. It also works without the phone. You'll be shooting blind, but you kind of get an idea of where the camera's headed, where it's pointed. So you can shoot without a phone, just hit that record button and it works. Tested that.
Worth noting.
One other thing I don't like about it is there's a big noisy fan on top of the camera which heats up and does kind of get in the way of the sound. I was recording a music video with an external mic, and when the camera got close enough, you could hear the sound from it, which you can always clean up if you know what you're doing, clean up in post. You lose a bit of quality, so there are all these considerations with it. So maybe a bigger, slower spinning fan would do, or as technology improves, you'll have sensors and chips that don't generate as much heat, and that will solve that problem. So it's not a perfect device. It's a first generation device, and it's pretty good for what it is. I can't wait for the next version.
Final question. What do you think of the 22mm focal length equivalent?
It's great. I have a stabilizer for an iPhone, and it's a gravity-fed mechanical one, and I just find the iPhone's about 28mm. It's just a bit too tight. I also have one for an RX100 Sony, and that's 28mm as well, and that's a bit too tight. So when you're doing this walk around stabilization stuff, you do want to have wide angle. You want to see the whole environment. So 20mm wide angle, it's beautiful. It's great.
All right, fantastic.